My name is Rose Miller, and for too long, I was a stranger in my own life. I used to think my purpose was to serve my daughter, Clara, and her husband, David, to ensure their happiness and success, no matter the cost to myself. For years I poured my love, my time, and most importantly, my savings into their lives, believing that in doing so, I was strengthening the bonds of family. I was wrong. It began subtly, as these things often do. Clara, my only child, had big dreams. She and David were always on the verge of launching the next big thing. A boutique coffee shop, an artisanal candle business, a tech startup that was guaranteed to make them millionaires. Each venture needed a little boost, a temporary bridge loan, just until they found their footing, and I, ever the doting mother, was always there with my checkbook open. I would worked hard my entire life. After my husband, Arthur, passed away a decade ago, leaving me with a modest inheritance and a paid-off home, I thought I was set for a peaceful retirement. Instead, my retirement became a never-ending financial lifeline for Clara and David. First, it was the down payment for their apartment, then the monthly car payments for David's business vehicle, followed by countless emergency expenses, a broken appliance, an unexpected medical bill, a last-minute trip for a supposed business opportunity. Each time I justified it, telling myself that this was what mothers did. This was love. The turning point came when Clara called me, her voice brimming with excitement. "Mom," she gushed, "David's new tech idea is brilliant, a game changer, but we need significant capital to get it off the ground. The bank needs collateral, and, well, we were hoping you could mortgage your house." The words hit me like a physical blow. My house, my sanctuary, the only truly secure asset I had left. "But Clara," I stammered, "that is everything I have. What if something goes wrong?" She quickly reassured me, her tone shifting to a blend of earnestness and subtle manipulation. "Mom, this is not just for us. This is for all of us. Imagine, once the app takes off, you will not have to worry about anything ever again. We will pay off the mortgage, buy you a new car, take you on that trip to Ireland you have always dreamed of. Just a small sacrifice now for a lifetime of comfort." David chimed in, equally persuasive, listing projections and promising a clear repayment plan. My heart ached with a mixture of fear and hope. The thought of providing for my daughter, of seeing her finally succeed, was intoxicating. The dream of Ireland, a place Arthur and I had always wanted to visit, flickered in my mind. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The process was draining, filled with paperwork and the weight of my decision. I took out a hefty mortgage, releasing a substantial sum, almost $200,000, and transferred it to their business account. They promised I would see returns within 6 months. 6 months came and went. Then 8, then a year. The groundbreaking app never materialized. Each time I asked Clara or David about it, they had an excuse: a new investor pulling out, a delay in development, a shift in market strategy. Meanwhile, my mortgage payments started, a constant drain on my remaining savings. Then came the real betrayal. It was my 50th birthday. I would, hinted for weeks, that I would love a quiet dinner with Clara and David, maybe at that small Italian place we used to frequent. They promised to come. I cooked all day, preparing a special meal, hoping for a rare moment of genuine connection. I bought a new dress, just like I used to for Arthur, hoping to feel special. At 6 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Clara. "So sorry, Mom. Super busy with investor meetings. We will reschedule soon. Love you." No call, no proper apology, just a curt message. I sat alone in my beautifully set dining room, the food getting cold, the new dress hanging uselessly in my closet. Later that evening, numb with disappointment, I scrolled through social media, a habit I usually avoided, and there it was. A picture Clara had posted, radiant and smiling, with David by her side, clinking champagne glasses on a sun-drenched beach. The caption read, "Celebrating our first business success. Hard work pays off. Maldives luxury life, blessed." And in the background, unmistakable, was a brand new luxury sports car. My breath hitched. My $200,000 mortgage, the one that put my home at risk, was supposed to fund their business. Instead, it funded a lavish vacation and a flashy car. The words from Clara's text, "super busy with investor meetings," echoed in my mind. A cruel mockery. They had not even bothered to invent a believable lie. They were literally parading their stolen luxury online, while I sat alone, humiliated on my birthday. That night, I did not just cry, I felt a seismic shift within me. It was not just sadness, it was a white-hot anger, a realization that I had been not just taken for granted, but actively exploited. I had allowed myself to be an ATM with feelings, a disposable resource for their endless desires. The illusion of family love, bought with my life savings, shattered into a million pieces. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I had not felt in years. The tired, anxious woman who used to worry about Clara and David's every whim was gone. In her place was a woman with a steely resolve. I looked in the mirror, truly seeing myself for the first time in years. The wrinkles were not just signs of age, they were battle scars. I was ready to fight. My first call was to the bank. I needed to know the exact balance of my mortgage, the interest rates, and the late payment penalties that would inevitably come. The numbers were stark, a testament to foolish generosity. Then I called my best friend, Martha, a no-nonsense woman who had always gently urged me to set boundaries. "Martha," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands, "I need to tell you everything." She listened patiently, her quiet support a balm to my raw nerves. When I finished, she simply said, "Rose, you know what you have to do now. It is time to protect yourself." And I did. I started by canceling the joint credit card Clara and David insisted I had for emergencies. An emergency always seemed to mean something they wanted. I changed the direct deposit settings on my pension, ensuring that no one but me had access. I pulled out old financial records, meticulously documenting every single transfer, every gift, every payment I had made over the years. The sum was staggering, well over $300,000, including the mortgage, my inheritance, my peace of mind, all gone. 2 days later, Clara called, her voice sweet and concerned. "Mom, I just checked the joint account, and it seems the last deposit did not go through. Is everything all right? We are a little behind on rent, and David's car payment is due." I took a deep breath. "Clara," I said, my voice calm but firm, "there will not be any more deposits. I have canceled all financial support." The line went silent, then a gasp. "Mom? What are you talking about? Are you feeling okay? This is not like you." "This is exactly like me, Clara," I replied. "The me who is tired of being used. The me who saw your social media post about your Maldives vacation and your new luxury car while I sat alone on my birthday. The me who realized my mortgage money did not go to a business, but to your lavish lifestyle." Her voice hardened instantly. "How dare you snoop on my social media? And you think that is your money? You gave it to us, Mom. It was a gift. It was a loan, Clara, for a business that never existed. And even if it was a gift, it does not buy you the right to humiliate and ignore me. I am done." And I hung up. The next few days were a barrage of calls and texts. Clara and David swung between furious demands and tearful pleas, accusations of mental instability mixed with desperate apologies. I ignored them all. My phone remained off for most of the day, a new kind of freedom I had not realized I craved. My next step was to see a lawyer. Martha recommended Miss Henderson, an elder law specialist known for his integrity. He listened intently as I recounted my story, shaking his head occasionally. "Miller," he said, "what your daughter and son-in-law have done, and are attempting to do, falls squarely into the category of elder financial abuse. It is a serious matter." He helped me draft a formal letter to Clara and David, demanding repayment of the mortgage money and outlining my decision to sever all financial ties. He also advised me to change the locks on my house and install a security system just in case their desperation turned into something more sinister, and it did. A week later, I came home to find Clara, David, and a man in a crisp suit standing on my porch. Before I could even get out of my car, Clara rushed forward, her face a mask of false concern. "Mom, thank goodness you are home. We have been so worried about you. This is Mr. Thorne, our family lawyer." Mr. Thorne approached with a condescending smile. "Miller, your children are deeply concerned about your recent behavior, the sudden financial cutoff, your refusal to communicate. They believe your judgment may be impaired, and they want to help you." He subtly gestured towards the manila folder in his hand. "They have asked me to discuss some arrangements, perhaps a temporary power of attorney, to ensure your financial well-being is managed responsibly." My blood ran cold. This was exactly what Mr. Henderson had warned me about. They wanted to declare me incompetent to take control of everything I had left. "Mr. Thorne," I said, my voice steady, "I am perfectly competent. My financial well-being is my own concern, and it is being managed by my own lawyer, Mr. Henderson. I suggest you communicate through him from now on. And I suggest you all leave my property immediately." Clara stepped forward, her eyes flashing with anger. "Mom, this is ridiculous. We are your family. We have rights. We have made plans based on your support. Your plans were made on my money, Clara, not on my love or my well-being," I retorted. "And now that the money is no longer available, you suddenly question my sanity. Get out." They eventually left, but not without threats. David shouted, "You will regret this, Mom. You will end up alone." His words stung, but I stood firm, watching them drive away. Alone. I was already alone, I realized, even when I was giving them everything. The difference now was that my loneliness was a choice, not a consequence of their neglect. The war had begun. Mr. Henderson moved quickly. He helped me update my will, ensuring Clara and David had no access to my assets, and initiated a counterclaim for the repayment of my mortgage money, citing financial abuse. He also put in place a restraining order, preventing them from coming to my house or contacting me directly. The next few weeks were a blur of legal appointments, therapy sessions, and a surprising amount of social activity. Martha introduced me to her book club, a group of vibrant, intelligent women who welcomed me with open arms. They shared their own stories of difficult family dynamics, giving me a sense of solidarity and validation I desperately needed. Eleanor, my neighbor, a quiet woman I would only ever exchange polite greetings with, became an unexpected confidant. She, too, had faced similar battles with her own children, and offered invaluable wisdom and emotional support. Then came the social worker, a polite but firm woman named Davies arrived at my door, explaining that a report had been filed alleging elder neglect and possible mental decline. "Miller," she said, looking around my tidy living room, "your family has expressed concerns about your sudden isolation and drastic financial decisions." I calmly explained the situation, backed up by the comprehensive documentation Mr. Henderson had prepared. I showed her my perfectly managed bank statements, explained my new security system, and introduced her to Eleanor, who vouched for my sound mind and active social life. Miss Henderson arrived shortly after, turning the tables on Miss Davies by providing detailed evidence for Clara and David's financial exploitation. Davies left, promising to close the case, her initial skepticism replaced by clear understanding. The legal battle culminated in a court hearing for a guardianship petition filed by Clara and David. They tried to paint me as a frail, confused old woman manipulated by my friends and lawyer. Clara's performance was theatrical, tears flowing freely as she spoke of her deep concern for her ailing mother. David presented fabricated bank statements and doctored emails, attempting to show my erratic behavior. Thorne, their lawyer, argued passionately that my financial decisions were irrational and a clear sign of mental decline. But Mr. Henderson was prepared. He brought in a neutral psychiatrist who had thoroughly evaluated me and presented a glowing report of my cognitive abilities. Martha and Eleanor testified, detailing my vibrant social life, my sharp mind, and my journey from emotional dependence to newfound strength. My bank manager provided records showing decades of flawless financial management on my part and stark evidence of Clara and David's consistent withdrawals from my accounts. When it was my turn to speak, I stood tall, facing the judge and my daughter. "Your Honor," I began, my voice clear and unwavering, "for years I confused love with obligation and family with a blank check. I believed that by giving my daughter and son-in-law everything, I would earn their affection and secure my place in their lives. But I was just a resource, an ATM with legs for their lavish desires. When I finally found the courage to say no, to protect myself and what little I had left, they chose to attack my sanity, to try and strip me of my dignity and my remaining independence." I looked directly at Clara, who finally dropped her act, her face contorted with anger. "Clara," I said, "you once promised me a trip to Ireland. You promised me peace of mind. Instead, you took my security, jeopardized my home, and then paraded your luxury vacation while I sat alone on my birthday. That, Your Honor, is not the behavior of a loving daughter, concerned about her mother's well-being. That is the behavior of an exploiter." The judge deliberated for what felt like an eternity. When he returned, his pronouncement was clear. He found no evidence of mental incompetence on my part. He dismissed Clara and David's petition for guardianship, citing their clear financial motivation and a pattern of elder financial abuse. He ordered them to repay the mortgage money and issued a permanent restraining order. I had won. It was not just a legal victory. It was a victory of spirit, a reclamation of self. As I left the courthouse, I saw Clara and David arguing heatedly with Mr. Thorne. Clara's eyes met mine, filled with pure hatred. David would not look at me. The finality of it was heartbreaking, but also liberating. The dream of the family I thought I had died that day, but a new, stronger Mrs. Rose Miller was born. In the months that followed, I truly began to live. I sold my house, settling into a smaller, cozier apartment that was truly mine. I used a portion of the proceeds to pay off my mortgage and another portion to fund a scholarship for single mothers, a cause I felt deeply passionate about. And then I bought a plane ticket. Not for Clara and David, but for myself. My first stop? Ireland. I traveled. I painted. I joined a local community garden with Eleanor and Martha, and have found joy in the simple act of being. I never heard from Clara or David again. I heard through the grapevine that their business had collapsed, and they were struggling. Perhaps adversity would teach them what my boundless generosity never could, the value of honest work, self-reliance, and true respect. Some nights, sitting on my small balcony, gazing at the stars, I think about the woman I was just a year ago, fearful, manipulated, believing I had to buy love. That woman is gone. In her place stands Rose, 72 years old, free, and finally, truly alive. I have learned that true love has no price tag, and true freedom is never too expensive. The most important person I have to love and protect is myself. If my story resonated with you, please consider supporting independent storytellers like me. Every small contribution helps me share more experiences that might inspire others. Thank you for listening, and please share your thoughts in the comments below. I am always curious to hear what you all think, and do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories. Until next time.